take L7.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy L7. That's right. I'm hanging with a very interesting guest today. Super honored to have him here. I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name is Anthony Miranda. I'm a candidate for Queensboro president.
That's right. So recently I went to a debate that was held for people who were running for Queensboro president. That was held in Jackson Heights. And sorry to all the other candidates, y'all were cool, but this guy was my favorite right here. So I'll let you guys get to know him a little bit, but tell him a little bit about Anthony Miranda, your policies and what you plan for. Well, that's a big question, right? And your plans for Queensboro president.
Well, again, my name is Anthony Miranda. I'm a candidate for Queensboro president. I served 20 years in the New York City Police Department, and I retired as a sergeant. I'm married and have 3 children. I live here in Forest. I'm sorry about that.
No, I'll read it. And honestly, right? Okay. So no, we're just gonna add that question out. Okay. So okay, look at the camera again.
There you go.
Now, yeah. So I just attended a debate held at the. I gotta do it right. I just attended a debate at Jackson Heights where all the different Queensboro presidential candidates were running. And actually, I really like this guy because his history working with civil rights and all this other thing. Can you give it a little bit more history about your work for the community?
Absolutely. For the last 30 years, we've been doing civil rights work in the community. Like some of the cases that we took on had to do a lot with police reform. The Abner Louima case, the Eric Gardner case, the Anthony Bias case. These are individuals who suffered death or were killed at the hands of police misconduct. And we organized police officers, imagine police officers in the system organized to be able to defend the rights of community residents and to fight against the internal discrimination that obviously reflects on how our communities are being treated.
Yeah, and to take on, police, there's that kind of that blue wall thing that you've heard about, and that's, you gotta be a brave person to take those kinds of things on. You can't be, you're out there breaking those doors down, you wanna know they have your back. So a lot of respect to you. I know you're a big guy, but anybody can get shot. So a lot of respect to your determination to stand up for the right things.
And I believe more people. I believe there's a lot of good officers, and what they look for is somehow to make sure the community has their back. We survived all these years in organizing because the community was with us. Had the community not been with us, I don't know if our organization would have survived. But again, we started in 1996. We're a national organization that goes across the United States right now. Again, opening the door and training other people in the processes and how to defend themselves. And I think that's extremely important, the education piece. The community has to know what the rules and regulations are for police officers and police systems so that they can be able to defend themselves as well.
Okay. And what really impressed me about this guy was the fact that he's not just talking about it, but you can see track record he's been doing it for years and years and years. So that was very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No doubt, man. I wouldn't just invite anybody, not that I'm anybody, but if someone has to repeat my interest, he definitely did that. Yeah. So as in terms of, we talk about your experiences in terms of like social activism and things like that, which is my personal heart, But have you ever had any other supervisory roles, like management? What did you achieve in those, and how do you think those might translate towards your work as Queensboro president?
Well, again, I did retire as a sergeant in the New York City Police Department. I worked in the Deputy Commissioner Training's office where they consolidated transit and housing and making uniformity to all the training in the police department. After that, I was hired as a director of security for approximately 10 private shelters that were run by the city, where we had to rewrite policy and training mechanisms to make the environment safe so that families can thrive in the homeless shelter system that the city has right now. And so we were part of that, and I was a major part of that, redrafting the policy and procedures and implementing changes that are still going on today. And then after that, I was appointed as the Chief of Police for the Administration of Children's Services. Again, called into an agency that was struggling in terms of professionalizing its force and changing their mentality and how they interact with people. And I said that was the work that we did. So we had budget restraints and working with budgets and making sure there were overtime restraints and paying for projects that were ongoing, had short-term goals and long-term goals, working and building teams of people. And I think that's the key also, being inclusive of everybody around you and building teams that are going to be able to plan and organize and continue to work going forward. So it's creating something that you can obviously pass on to the next leadership and they can continue to work in good faith.
Hey, actually that's very interesting because it's kind of like ties into my next question over here. Now I noticed when I went to that thing, you were the only candidate, I believe, who said that they asked her, which president do you support? I think you're the only one who said Bernie Sanders.
That's correct. I'm the only candidate who endorsed Bernie Sanders for president.
Well, when you look at how strong the Bernie Sanders gang is in Queens, you think they'd all just do it for political advantage. No. But they can't do it because the Democratic Party doesn't want Bernie in there.
That's correct.
You know what I mean? So this guy, I could say, I thought other people would go for it. Nobody, only this guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
We're not machine. I think machine politics limits people's ability to be independent. We're Democrats, but you have to be able to applaud the process when it's done correctly, but hold people accountable. And you can't do that if you're beholden to a machine politics that hold you back all the time. And Bernie Sanders' ideas, believe it, are what we all want. I said, take away titles that they give us, limitations, I believe, that restrict us and what people believe.
Now I'm time for me to ask my challenge question. I'm so sorry, man. You ready? Okay, so the thing is that, right, I look at sometimes the way the government wastes money. You know what I mean? And like I look at the Sanders and wants to build it up, right? And I saw earlier that you talk about like bringing government responsibility, right? You're like, we're going to limit these budgets. We're going to, not just about overtime left and right. We got to be controlling these things. So I really let that tie together where we're going to increase, our heart is in the right place taking care of the people, but we're not just going to throw money mindlessly at the government and say like it's going to solve our problems. And that for me is really, I wish I heard more of that from Sanders, to tell you the truth, you know what I mean? But I get it.
We have to be responsible. There are people in need, and we have a responsibility to help the people that we can. And so we're always open those doors. But again, we know that local governments and cities, they expend money needlessly on things that pay more than anybody should.
Yeah, you guys all know this, and the fact that this guy already like anticipates that or talks about that before I even bring it up as an issue, like, and that's a really central core issue I think that at hand. Like, I know the Libertarians look at this carefully. I know a lot of Republicans out there, a lot of Trump supporters. You know what I mean? And they look at it and they're like, yo, what's up with that? Or even like honestly business owners or people that are affected by the government, people that live in public housing, they're like, why are these inspectors coming and wasting my time and money? You know what I mean? But
we're believers in supporting small business owners, okay? It's important. Small business owners become the backbone of our community and our economy. They're local jobs and local services. But again, not everybody sees it that way. There are propositions in the city council right now that have been there close to 10, 15 years that the city council members just failed to move on, and they would have helped our small businesses stay in business right here in our communities. We have to support small business owners. We have to make sure that we're supporting those people in public housing as well. We can't, we're the slumlords. Imagine that the city has now become the equivalent of some slumlords in the city. How can we allow that to happen with all the elected officials and the diversity that we have representing us, that we're still failing in the process to be able to provide services and do that efficiently?
Okay. So, well, I don't want to be too much of a fanboy over here. There should be some neutrality here, but I'm going to ask, just tell you, I noticed that one of the things that you talked about in the in one of the interviews was the fact that a lot of other candidates are taking money from big-time real estate developers. So, okay, you got your little mom-and-pop operation that's honestly been in the community for 20, 30 years. Everybody knows it's part of the fabric of the New York City, like neighborhoods, like that's the character of neighborhoods. And then you got like, some big like Walmart or something, Walmart-like store, big box retailer says, hey, you know what? We want to place all you guys. We're going to make it look like a mall, like everybody's the same. You know what I mean? And actually, the real estate developers with all their big money come in and just, you only make $100,000, $200,000 a year, like gross, not net. Okay, for the business owners to understand the difference, right? You're probably not even making $20,000, $30,000, maybe like close to minimum wage, right? Struggling out there trying to make it happen. But boom, a big box comes in and replaces you, but your company not only says that they don't take any big real estate developer money, which is actually probably the #1 corrupting influence here in New York City, but you guys also said you guys will return the money. You know what I mean? And that type of forward thinking, like the no PAC money, stuff like that, I gotta give much love out there, you know what I mean? For real.
And we don't take any real estate money, so you understand that. The billionaire developers have contributed to all the candidates who are currently running in this race for Queensboro president, but yet they still want to make people believe that they have an independent voice. You cannot have an independent voice when you're being funded by the same people who are building these luxury houses in the middle of our communities. Again, we want regular, affordable, responsible building in our communities, something that actually helps the people that live here, and that we're not getting that. So again, that's why I decided to run for Queensboro president. We need a different voice, we need a different type of accountability, and we need to be full disclosure. Everybody needs to know what's going on. We're being honest about the business, then you have nothing to hide. But our elected officials don't operate on that level. So again, I'm not a politician. What I am is a community activist who kind of got fed up and decided that we needed change, and I threw my hat into the race for the Queensboro president. And you can all visit my site at Miranda 4 Queens, that's the number 4, Miranda4Queens.com. Visit, look at our site, look at the information that's out there, and most
importantly, for real, and I'll put it on the screen too.
And most importantly, share it, because if you just keep it to yourself, then we fail. Remember, the next big thing that we're talking about is voter participation. Only 3%, in Queens, only 3% of our communities vote. We have over 1,200,000 active registered voters, and only 3% are making the decisions that impact on everybody's life in Queens. So I'm really encouraging everybody, not just in Queens, all over the 5 boroughs. The power is in your right to vote. And while people will try to discourage you and say it doesn't matter, every vote matters. And in Queens, the last race for district attorney was lost by 50 votes. One building, one block made the difference in that election. And there was a low voter turnout. But we can't
Let me just
afford
add
that.
something right here. The thing is that a lot of people pay attention to national elections. You know, Tulsi Gabbard, you know, the Yangs running for president, Sonny Sanders running for president, but the local politics is what really affects you more, your life day to day. So a lot of people say Trump is this, Trump is that, right? What did Trump do to me personally in the last week? Oh, nothing. He's completely removed. But these people are having real impacts on our everyday life. It's so important. So actually, we're trying to bring out, you know, the new people that have been activated politically, or, you know, a little bit more interested, trying to pull them in. This is the time where change can happen on a local level. Yo, this is the guy right here. Okay?
Local level, you got to vote not just in your Queensboro presidents, but you have to vote on who the judges are going to be. Those are the people that have to make decisions on all of our lives every single day. Again, if you want to have representation that looks like us, reflects the interests of our communities, thinks like us, and our ideas, remember that our ideas, then we need to vote those people into office. When we are silent or fail to activate or use the power that we have, somebody else is using their power and they're making the decisions for us.
So, since we're talking about, there's so many different angles to branch out on, but right now, I know, like, we just talked about the national campaigns. Now, Yang Gang is pretty strong out there. I know they had the idea of UBI. I don't know if you're familiar with UBI.
Yeah, I read about something. Again, I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter, so I understand that there are challenges with many people's ideas, right?
But how do you feel about, you know, UBI can be a lot of different things, right? It can be in a lot of different ways, right?
There are some positive things in there. Whenever we look at this, is what we find very exciting. What's exciting is that new people running for public office, even at the presidency level, bring new ideas, and there's more possibilities. When we limit the amount of people that are actually being able to participate, we do ourselves an injustice. So I think everybody who's out there who has the interest in running for any public office should be allowed to speak. We should be allowed to hear their voices when they're speaking, because sometimes they come up with the ideas that nobody else has thought of, and kind of put interesting twist on certain things, so it opens possibilities.
Well,
I think
really what the Yang Gang wants to know, because I know there's some Yang Gang out there watching this video right now. You know, I mean, they want to know, like, which do you support policies of Yang, and, you know, can they feel comfortable voting for you? Because
well, listen, there are some
$democracy. That's a hot idea. You know what
democracy dollars. I wasn't too. I started reading about it again. That's not something.
This is how it works. Right? The thing is that the corporations make big donations to the government, right? But instead, every citizen can donate $100 to a presidential campaign of their choosing. If they don't use it, it just goes back into the pot. You know, we just go back to the government, but it's just not used. But that $100 given from every American, all of a sudden it changes the dynamic, right? Because the corporation before giving like 8 million, but with New York City, 8 million people, you know what I mean? You say like that's $800 million possibly to one campaign. It completely changes the incentives. It says, instead of going for the corporations, maybe I'm going to actually help the people. So that's a hot idea.
It's a hot idea when you can empower people. When you can take the voices away and the power away from corporations for influencing elections and people. I think any idea that opens those doors is something worth exploring. Right? We talked about gun control as well. These are things that we need, and we know that there's some positive actions that we can take, except not catering to special interests, so to speak, right? And I just talked about just the basic level. Wherever you live at right now, in whatever country you live in, state, city, there's a position. Look it up. I'm going to tell you about it now because very few people talk about it. It's called county committee person. It's the equivalent of that $100 that we talk about per citizen. Because literally about every 4 blocks in a normal community has a male and female representative of every party, Democratic, Independent, Republican Party. It exists. And all you have to do is get the signatures of your neighbors. 50 of your neighbors sign a petition for you to be their representative. Again, a male and female representative where you actually get elected to office, you have a voice at the table, and you have influence about the decisions that are being made. So not just about dollars. I think real people at the table having real conversations changes the dialogue and changes how much influence big corporations can have on the things that are happening in our communities.
So Yang Gang, just like as a shout out to you guys have to make your own decision here. I think that you can see that a lot of the ideals and a lot of the end goals here are the same. And I think that this is a chance for a wonderful discussion. And that's really all that Yang really wanted originally, just want someone who was actually open to listening and open to actually changing the status quo. So, look, you guys have to make your own decision. I know my decision, and I think this guy's cool. But I'm not going to take that your agency away from you. You make your own decision, but please feel free to talk to us. I think it's a cool time. Yeah.
Yeah, visit the website again, and my number's on there. I answer my own phone. I answer the emails. So don't hesitate to send me any questions that you have. And if there's any way that I can be supportive, or we can bring organization and help bring a message out, I think it's extremely important. Let's open up all the doors and let's have real conversations that we can engage all of our communities. And we have a lot of diverse communities that are being left out of the conversation right now. So don't be left out. And remember this county committee person, look it up. It's effective. If you can't find it, I'll share it with you. It's all over the United States. But that's real power, and then nobody's paying attention to it.
Okay. I should be asking Tulsi because I'm a super Tulsi fan, but she's so controversial. I don't want to hurt your candidacy by any weird associations. But damn, I really feel like she's so controversial because people that say she's Republican, and if you even say anything nice about her,
it's not a Republican. Remember, we take the position of the following: good people are good people. We take away the labels.
Yeah.
If you're talking about solutions to problems, nobody cares about labels as long as you're providing solutions, right? So solutions are labels are very limiting, and it turns people off one way or the other. So forget about the labeling. What are the issues that impact our communities? If we're talking about real, affordable, responsible building of homes, if we're talking about real education opportunities, we're talking about better transportation, if we're talking about limiting our military growth and actually supporting our communities right here at home, are we talking about real issues? Then what are those solutions? Take away the labels. Don't allow anybody to allow you to take away from you the ability to have a decent conversation about the topics that are so important to us and our families. So open the door. Forget about the labels. Are the solutions viable solutions? Do they bring real results? Then we can talk.
See, my face just lit up right there because honestly, I love a warrior. You know what I mean? I gave you the easy way out. You're like, no, you can do what you believe in. I love that, man. I feel like we need that so bad. Like, honestly, my face lit up there. You guys can see in the video. That I'm like, just give me a leader who actually does what they believe in versus what they're, paid off to do. It's so sad, man.
It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
And again, most people you talk to, they say they just don't believe in politics anymore. They actually don't believe in many of the political leaders at all. And that's unfortunate, right? And that's why many people say, why even bother to vote? It doesn't make a difference. But it absolutely makes all the difference in the world. And we haven't seen anything else. We'll see this in this presidential race that's coming now. Every single vote will matter.
Okay.
That decision.
When's the date time? When do people place the votes?
For the Queensboro president's race, for my race, it's a special election, right? So March 14th, if you know anybody in Queens at all, pick up the phone, send the email, reach out to them and say, March 14th is the first day of early voting. That starts 10 days.
That's coming real quick.
Absolutely. We have 9 days left for the 14th.
Well, I'm gonna try to mount the Tulsi team and the Yang Gang, and anybody else.
March 14th is the
the
first day of early voting, and March 24th is the last day of voting. And I tell everybody, you know what? Don't wait till the last day. We don't know what the weather is going to be. We don't know what life challenges are going to bring us. So the first day is the most powerful message that we can send out. And why? Because there's limited polling sites. When you have too many polling sites, it dilutes your power. When you have 1 or 2 polling sites in your communities, and you all come out and you blow it up, you kind of make numbers. I want the news to read on Monday evening, record numbers of people come out in Queens for early voting.
Wait, what day is that? Is that Friday, Saturday?
That's a Saturday.
Saturday? Well, I think that I'll try to be there to film it, you know what I mean? So we'll cover that and we'll try to make it extra, you know what I mean? I make a bunch of stuff on my channel.
Make sure you all come out. Wherever he's going to be at, whatever polling site he's going to focus at, come out in the millions, right? Because again, I think we can send a strong message here. And this is the beginning, because this precedes the presidential election. We need to start getting people moving in the right direction. And Queens is that hub that the whole world is looking at. What happens in Queens? And so I think it's important. March 14th, your social media, your phone calls, your emails, anybody you possibly know that could possibly be related to Queens and may know somebody else in Queens, reach out to them and say March 14th is the first day of early voting. It's the second time in New York City that we're doing it. So we don't want them to take it away from us. We want to make sure that we're empowering. 10 days to make sure that everybody gets a chance to vote. But the first day is most important. Let's break the records and let all the news channels report record numbers of Queens residents come out to vote on the first day of early voting.
And making a record number of people, that shows, there's a certain word for that, but it gives you a license to implement these changes. You can say, look, I have the will, I have the support of the people, we can make this happen.
And that's extremely important.
Miranda for Queens.
Miranda for Queens. And coming in with a people's mandate says that you don't have to be beholden to any local politics, to any of the political machines that try to influence you. you can put that aside. Listen, we're going to put it aside anyway. We're going to put them all aside because what we're talking about is clear communication and clear empowerment for regular people, community residents, people like you and I that live in the communities and said, hey, we want our voices to be heard and we want to make a difference. And I think that time is right now a perfect opportunity to set the stage for the coming presidential election as well.
Okay. Do you think that you address the needs of certain communities that other candidates are addressing right now? What do you think are your primary communities that are?
No, see, Queens needs an overall plan. They need to have a clear view, transportation plan that covers the entire borough, an education plan that covers the entire borough, a development plan that shows where all these new developments are going into and that they really serve the needs of the community. And we have to empower our community boards, our community representatives as well to have their voices heard, to have the diversity that we need. Yeah, that's different, right? Because all the other politicians, all they want to do is get there so they can do the same thing the last guy did when he got there. They just want to be the next cog in the machine. I don't want to be a part of the machine. I want to be the person that when the machine does right, we applaud them. But I want to be the guy that empowers people. We're going to open the door to 2,762 elected county committee people. That's never been done before, but in my entire term running for Queensboro president, that's what we're going to focus on. How do we bring all the eligible seats and have community residents, their voices heard, allow them to take those positions so they can never be shut out of the conversation? Again, we don't need to be running for office based on personalities because people eventually go out of office. So if you do the right job the right way, you create a base for every person to have a voice and be able to exercise their right to vote. I think that's more powerful than any one individual. And that's the message that we're sharing.
It's a great message. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
My pleasure, man.
Thank you all.
I'm going to be hitting the streets. You might see me hang out some flyers with this guy real soon. See you guys. All right, peace. Come join us.